how can I improve my room? Now, this is a good question, and there's a lot of ways to improve your room. The way that I improved my room massively was to one, build an incredible room, acoustic treatment, and it actually be built specifically for the room and what I actually required of the room. But one thing that I did add that made my room perfect is I put in a trim-off. Now, a trim-off is basically room correction, and that corrected my room, made any imperfections perfect. The room literally turned from sounding all right, yeah, I mean, it was good, but it just glued it together and it made it sound this lovely cohesive sound. So a trim-off is the #1 thing to put into a room, but you could put a trim-off into a bad room and it will still be bad. You could put a trim-off into a good room and it will be excellent. The other thing's acoustic tiles. Like, I'm not talking about these square tiles that people put up. I built a studio and I put all tiles up and all that sort of stuff in the early days, and it doesn't have a very good effect. All it does is deadens the room. It's cool, I guess, for a live room or a booth or something like that, but for a mixing studio, for a mastering studio, you need some reflection. It needs to sound natural in here, right? So the acoustic tiles, I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then that whole front wall is pretty much an acoustic tile, and then I've got 1 down the middle and 2 down the sides. So there's quite a lot of acoustic tiles in here, and by acoustic tiles I mean it's a wall that is an acoustic wall. That makes a huge difference. I mean, you won't hear reflections in this room, because it's quite honestly, it's perfect. There's lots and lots of ways of having a great room. Symmetry, getting symmetry into your room, right? Some people, you know, obviously not everybody's in a fortunate situation where they can have a purpose-built room for mixing and mastering. Some people, they're mixing and mastering in their bedroom, so they've got their bed and their wardrobe. These things do play a big factor into the acoustics of your room. If you can't have symmetry in your room, let's say for instance you've got a wardrobe to your right of you, that is going to affect sound on the right. That will make you feel that sound is different on the right, where you don't have symmetry. If you had 2 wardrobes either side of each other, right, it would be symmetrical in terms of it would sound equally as bad either side. So kind of having the symmetry of a room is very important. It really is important. Having a big room, I mean, my room was maybe a bit bigger than this one. Sorry, a bit bigger than half. So maybe about three quarters the size of this room, and that was cool. But having a big room like this, it does make a big difference. Other ways to improve the room. I mean, I'm going to give this example as well. Is have a clean room. So it does improve your room. It improves how you sit in your room. I mean, even lights, things like lights, they improve the mood of the room. It does improve the room. Having just like a clean room, clean racks with gear inside racks, and it's all just kind of, everything's just nice and perfect. You know, it does make a difference. Anything else? What else? Let me have a think. See, one thing I've just thought of is, you know, you've got, let's say for instance, you've got the bass hitting, right? And you've got a desk and you've got a screw loose, right? And you can hear, and you will think that it's coming from the sound, and it will affect the way that you EQ something. And this screws every time that kick or that bass hits, it just rattles, and that affects you. And the little things like that, they seem so minuscule, but having, I mean, anyone who's got a kind of anyone that's got a desk where they've got speakers on the desk, you will know what I'm talking about when you hear the desk can vibrate, things can vibrate, and they really do change the way you EQ a sound, and it really does. So to improve your room, speaker stands, put your speakers on stands, things like that. You know, these little things, they massively, decouplers, little like the isopuck type things under your speakers, they make a massive difference. They really do, because they just isolate it from the desk, they isolate it from the speaker stand, they isolate it from the floor. Your speakers become almost isolated from everything. So things like that are very important, and they really do improve your room, and they improve your sound.